Leonard knew there was no escape. Not only was he naked, but his wrists were bound in iron chains stuck firmly on a stone pillar behind him. Surrounding him were Cana shouting in joy at seeing their avatar of Cain risen once more after centuries of dormancy, and walking slowly towards him was Mercy Killer, the Slaughter Queen casually flipping her blade into the air, while brandishing a smile that promised him a slow death by exsanguination. As Leonard's mind moved through various stages of terror and panic, a light laugh echoed through the clearing, a laugh that was both sickeningly sweet and terrifyingly malicious, a laugh that gave the Canites pause and caused an emotion to appear on Mercy Killer's face that Leonard thought her incapable of feeling: fear. A fear that proved founded, as one of the Canites was cleaved in twain, the sword of the Avatar of Cain deep in the dirt, as her two halves crumpled to the ground on either side. At that point, the fight was on as the Daughters of Cain battled their now rebellious icon, an icon that slowly transformed from a masculine figure of fiery vengeance and bloody brutality into an androgynous being of playful slaughter and lethality. Although the Canites fought bravely, they stood no chance, and by battle's end, the only one still standing was a tall, four-armed demon of elegant horns, flowing curves, and dark promises that both entranced and sickened Leonard. Flinging a skewered Canaan off of their blade with a flick of their wrist, the demon turned towards Leonard. Smiling, they slowly laid upon their stomach, raised their feet towards the air, and rested their head upon their hands before saying in a bubbly voice, "That was so invigorating. It has been so long since I have been able to let loose. Every time those elves came to try to empower their avatar, I always hoped they would finally do so and allow me to escape my imprisonment. And every time they failed, I always felt like I was being teased. And that's the type of teasing I am not a fan of. But today, thanks to you, Leonard, I am now free in the mortal realms once again."
Oh, I guess you're, welcome. Uh, how should I address you?
"Oh, I'm sorry. I am the Keeper of Secrets, Anastasia. Nice to meet you. Now, normally in a situation such as this, I would consume your soul and move on, but I feel that would be rather rude. Do you think that would be rude?"
Um, yes?
"I thought so. So how about this? Since you're a scholar, Leonard, how about I tease you with some knowledge? Perhaps enlighten you about what it means to be a mortal follower of Slaanesh. Across the mortal realms, there are always those who are unsatisfied with the mundanity of their lives and seek deeper sensations outside the norm. These vices can come in a variety of forms, depending on the preference of the mortal, whether it be exotic foods or more stimulating battles. Those who regularly indulge in these vices gain the attention of Slaanesh, for the seeking of them empowers the god. From there, all it takes is a light touch from a demon, perhaps in the form of a whisper in the wind, or a subtly implanted thought, to push them over the edge into a spiral of obsession. Their simple luxury or secret treat develops into a semi-permanent fixture of their lives, a routine that becomes essential to their existence. They gradually neglect their obligations to duty, family, and even their own health to continue these indulgences, and as their willpower erodes, this preoccupation leads to intemperance, then decadence, then debauchery. Their morality, and for the weaker-willed ones, their sanity, is abandoned, and near the end, they need but take one final step for their dark metamorphosis to take hold. While trying to protect or further their vice, they must take a life, or perform an equivalent taboo. Once they do this, they pass the point of no return, and fully become a mortal warrior of Slaanesh, what we call a Sybarite, destined to cavort in processions known as carnivals alongside their fellow deviants, in the service of a gloating and uncaring god. who will continue to use them until they lie torn and forgotten by the wayside.
Why would they join in these carnivals if they know that's gonna happen?
By that point, Leonard, they are well beyond caring. Those who first join the carnivals fight as bliss barb archers, the lowest ranking of the Sybarites. They have not yet earned the right to engage the foe in melee, and revel in the unbridled sensation of hand-to-hand combat. Although lesser, they still perform an important task, for they provide range support for the rest of the army. The accuracy of their arrows is second to none, as their heightened senses greatly enhance their abilities. So enhanced that these light-footed killers aim to perform the most impressive and daring shots, while simultaneously cavorting around the battlefield. Not only do the crescent-edged prongs in their arrowheads inflict the most deliciously agonizing injuries on their enemies, but they are coated with a substance known as the bliss brew, a sickly sweet incense formed of various substances some would ignorantly call unsavory, that is carried by homunculi that follow the carnivals around. This substance causes panic amongst mortals, unraveling even the staunchest of battle lines, and leaving them vulnerable to the rest of the Sybarites. Now amongst the ranks of these bliss barb archers, there are a few who know they will never be worthy of engaging the foe directly, and become desperate to find a way to make it possible. This desperation becomes so powerful that it attracts the attention of a steed of Slaanesh, the demon promising the Sybarite the immediate thrill of melee battle, if only they were to mount it. However, such a seemingly easy bargain comes at a price, for once they sit astride the steed of Slaanesh, they are at its mercy, and can never dismount. These Hellstriders, as they are called, are forced to supply a constant tribute of souls to Slaanesh, or suffer the consequences. Still, many of these Hellstriders consider it worth the price, as they gleefully use the hooked tendrils of their hell scourges to rip flesh from bone, or their claws to pierce their enemy's supple flesh. Now, as I said, those were the poor wretches who sought an easy avenue for pleasure, but some are destined for greater heights. Every once in a while, a bliss barb archer who has had a brush with death, or a mind-blasting experience, may be struck with a compulsion to travel. They cross chaos-corrupted wastes, the pleasure halls of demon kings, hellish war zones, and other forgotten corners of the realms in search of something they can't describe. Most stumble and are forgotten on this journey, as is expected, but a determined few, who continue to crawl on bloodied hands and tremble under spasms born of starvation in pursuit of this unknowable goal, attract the attention of an exalted steed of Slaanesh. These higher order of demons seek not a slave, but a true partner in the pursuit of pleasure through battle, and through profane ritual, the willful mingling of blood, and simple devotion. Mortal and demon share a bond that truly makes them one. It's truly a beautiful sight. In battle, these bliss barb seekers continue to use their bows with deadly accuracy, but now their arrows are coated with the poisonous saliva of their steed, which causes extreme agony that can overwhelm even the mightiest of warriors. Eventually, using a bow is not enough, and they are compelled to engage in melee, desiring more than anything to hear the screams of their victims, to feel the splatter of gore upon their flesh, and to smell the sense of fear and desperation. They soon equip themselves with helms of mirror-polished steel, wield ornately crafted glaives, and take the title of Slick Blade Seekers. Wielding their glaives with mesmerizingly fluid and graceful movements, they cleave open skulls and hack off limbs with exacting precision. I'm bored.
What?
I'm bored. As exciting as it is to talk to you, Leonard, I need to go and stretch my legs a bit. I have been inside that statue for a long time after all. Time to head out and see what's become of the realms without me.
That sounds like a great idea. I would have loved to learn more, but I guess it can't be helped.
Well, I would hate to disappoint you, Leonard. Who am I to deny you the pleasure of my company? With that, the demon grasped the chain that bound Leonard to the pillar and ripped it from the stone, raising it, and by extension a flailing and naked scholar towards them. As the chain moved closer, Leonard could feel it moving like a liquid around his wrist. And as he looked up, he saw a piece of it flow around Anastasia's neck and reattach itself to his wrist. Soon the iron chain was an intricate silver necklace, with Leonard as its centerpiece upon the demon's chest. Happy with their new accessory, the Keeper of Secrets frolicked happily into the woods, Leonard bouncing uncomfortably along with them.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Sybarites in the army of the Hedonites of Slaanesh. If you like it, please like, subscribe, comment, press the little bell so you know where I post, etc, so that the YouTube guys know I exist and hopefully more people out there might like my content and see it. Might see my content and like it. I'm very tired. It's been a hectic week. Anyway, if you have the cash and only if you're inclined, please also consider sending a little money to my Patreon or my Coffee account. The extra money gives me a chance to work on these stories I love. Anyway, thanks for listening/watching, and see you next time.